Wherever you're, I'm here for a brand new episode, live episode of the Riff Rundown with my friends at Fishman. If you guys are enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps the cause. And if you're new, I'll kind of tell you how this works. So we are live, right? Live in real time. And I teach you guys how to play one of my favorite songs live. And it's a live Q&A too. And if you guys have questions about, certain techniques and the gear I'm using and all of that good stuff, you could type it in the comments and then I will get to as many of those questions as I can within the hour. So today, have your acoustic guitar in standard tuning. We're gonna be learning Cold Day in the Sun by the Foo Fighters. It's a really fun one. I would say beginner, intermediate. There's some great strumming here, some really cool riffs, a really fun melodic solo in here too. We can do all that stuff on our acoustic guitar. So this is gonna be a really, really fun one today. I really like this song. It's a really fun one to play and I'm really excited to teach it to you all today. So before we get started, I always like to ask a question. So let me know where you're tuning in from. And let's see, how about your favorite big strummer sing-along kind of song? That's what I want to know. So let me know where you're tuning in from and your favorite acoustic strumming song, sing-along song. All right, so here we go. Here is Cold Day in the Sun by the Foo Fighters. So there it is, folks. We're going to be learning that one today, Cold Day in the Sun by the Foo Fighters. It is an awesome one. Reason why I picked this particular Foo Fighters song today is that the awesome Taylor Hawkins sang lead on this, wrote the lyrics, and I figured it'd be a really, really great one to teach today. They did a really beautiful tribute concert to him at the Forum here in Los Angeles, and it just felt like the right time to do this song. It's a really, really fun one. So this one's for Taylor. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Let's read through where everybody's tuning in from and some of your favorite sing-along songs. All right, so we've got Santa Barbara in the house. We got Brazil, Allentown, New Jersey. We got Indiana. Love it. Thank you all. We got Italy in the house. Florida, England. This is awesome. Athens, Georgia, Lincolnshire, UK. Thank you all so much for being here. We got Brazil here too. Really awesome stuff. So thank you all for being here. So as I mentioned at the top, we're going to do this on acoustic today. If you listen to the original song, which is on the In Your Honor album, it was a double album. So the first part of the album was electric, and then the second part was all acoustic stuff, and this song was part of the acoustic half of that album. It's a really fun one here. When you listen to the original track, you'll hear it's a pretty predominant 12 string that is doing this bit here, but since most of us don't have a 12 string, I figured a 6 string would do the job for this. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Let's look at the intro, all right? So I'm gonna play it through, and it sounds like this. So it's a really cool little riff. So let's go ahead and learn how to do it. All right, so we're gonna get our second finger here. We're gonna place that on the 3rd fret of that A string. So that's gonna be our C note. So this riff is being played over the C9 chord. Okay, so we'll get to that in a little bit. So what we're gonna do here, second finger on that 2nd fret, or 3rd fret rather, the A string gets our C note. And what I'd like you to do, even though, yes, I know we're not going to be playing these strings yet, but it's good to have them here once we get into the strumming bit. And I know for me, my hand feels a little more comfortable and a little more stabilized when I do this. Place your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. That is your D note, and then your 4th finger on the 3rd fret of that E string. That's your G note there. So notice how I keep these 2 fingers there. Right? We're anticipating that G major chord. So keep your fingers there, all right? I know that's what I like to do. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. C note, open D string, open G string. That's the first riff. So I'm striking downwards. We're talking right hand technique here, striking downwards on the A string, downwards on the D string, upwards on the G string. Like that, okay? So let's go ahead, do that nice and slowly here. Okay, here we go. Down, down, up. Down, down, up. All right, with a little more speed. All right. So that's what's happening there. That's what we're playing over that C add 9 chord. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get our 1st finger, okay? We're doing this like really cool bass-line-y thing, all right, in the bass. So what we're gonna do here, 1st finger, 2nd fret of the E string, that's our F sharp, all right? So this riff is being played over a D over F sharp chord, which we'll talk about in a little bit. All right, so get that 1st finger, and again, keeping the 3rd and 4th finger where they are, on the 3rd fret of the B and E string respectively, okay? So, 1st finger, 2nd fret of the E string, striking downward, open D string, open G string. And again, same thing, downward stroke, up. Just like that. All right? So let's go ahead now and add our 1st riff with C, and then the one with the F sharp in the bass, okay? Nice and slowly here, here we go. Let's do that a few more times. Okay, now with a little speed. like that. Let's do that one more time. Pretty awesome, right? So now we're going to do here. This riff's going to be played over the G chord. Get your second finger, placing that on the 3rd fret of the E string. That note is G. Okay. We're going to strike that note, downward stroke with the right hand, open D string, and we're just going to just a nice up, down, strum with the G chord. Okay, just kind of filling the space here. So we've got the G note, and then we're going to strum that G chord through, up, down, down. Okay, so when we put all of them together, I'll play it slowly. It sounds like this. Let's do that again. So that G chord, we want to play that, lucky for us, the 3rd and 4th finger are already where they need to be, on the 3rd frets of the B and E string respectively, the D and G notes, okay? All we're going to do to complete the G chord here, 1st finger, 2nd fret of the A string, that's a B note. And remember, our target points for G major, G, B, and D, 1, 3, and 5, okay? So let's go ahead and do this entire riff together nice and slowly, and then we'll pick up the speed. All right, here we go. A few more times. So that part of the riff is going to be played twice. Okay, so we're going to repeat that. The next part of the riff sounds like this, very similar to what we just did. We're just going to add in an F, all right? So here we go. Here's how this part sounds. So this is the last part of that intro riff, okay? So here it goes. All right, so as you can see, we're incorporating that F note in there. We're going to go ahead and walk it through. So this is the last part here, similar to parts 1, 2, and 3, right? The intro. So that's the same, right? When we do that G chord riff, we're going to add in that open G string, all right? So let's play that first half together here. Here we go. Do that again. Again. With a little speed. Again. Last time. Now, after that is where we're going to reach for the F. Do your best to keep the 3rd and 4th finger where they are positioned at the 3rd fret of that B and E string. It's going to sound like this. All right, so that 1st finger, placing it on the 1st fret of the E string, that's our F note. Okay, so F note, D string, G string, back to the D string. So in context, like that. All right, so we're striking downward on the E string, downward on the D string, upward on the G string, and upward on that D string. All right, for some of us, this might be a little bit of a reach, but it's a cool voicing. I really like it a lot. So we're gonna do here, let's now incorporate that to the rest of the riff. All right, so here we go. Let's do it again. Last time. Okay, so after this section, we're gonna go back to that C, D over F sharp, and then we're gonna strum our G chord, back to that G chord here. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then we're gonna go into that verse, all right? So let's do the whole thing here. I'm gonna play it through nice and slowly. We're gonna get through this part. And again, this is a live Q&A, folks. So if you have questions, right, about the gear I'm using or other stuff, right, pertaining to the lesson, put it in the comments and I'll get to it, all right? So here we go, nice and slowly here from the top, and we'll build speed as we go through each pass. All right, so here we go. Let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. It's a fun riff, isn't it? So let me know how everybody's coming along, folks. Let me know. How's it going? Keep me posted on your progress right now. So here we go. Let's do that again. A little faster. One more time. It's too fun. Let's do it again. So there you go. There's the intro. All right. So Chris Shiflett, the other guitar player in the band, one of the other guitar players in the band, is playing this. Now, when we get into the verse, Chris Shiflett continues to do this riff. So he continues with this, but if we want more of a, right, just kind of a rhythm, fun strumming part, it would sound like this. Again, this is a really, really fun one. So again, live Q&A, folks. If you guys have questions, we'd be happy to answer them now. Also, too, if you guys are enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to check out all the cool stuff Fishman is up to, and to see the gear that I use for these lessons, including my Matrix Infinity Enhanced pickup that I have in here, my Fishman RS Spectrum, the silver box I always talk about that I absolutely love, that I bring to all of my acoustic gigs for, geez, at least the last 8 years. It's a great little pedal, and the Fishman Loudbox Performer amp that I use in these lessons as well. You can check them all out in the link in the video description. All right, so let's look at that verse. So the verse here, it's gonna be a C add 9, D over F sharp to G. It's gonna be the first section that we look at, all right? So with the C add 9, it's a really beautiful chord. I love this chord. It's probably my favorite guitar chord, okay? Second finger, third fret of that A string, that's your C note. Bring your first finger to the second fret of the D string. That note is E, all right? third finger, third fret of that B string. That's another D note there, okay? Or just not the other one, that's the only one in this chord. Big E finger on G, third fret of that E string. All right, so you're gonna strum from the A string downward. Just like that, okay? We don't want this low E in there, it gets a little muddy. Just strum those three, all right? Just like that. Really beautiful chord. Could you play a C over this? You could, but there's just such a beautiful sparkle with that C add 9. So why not use it today? All right, so what we're gonna do here, it's gonna be just a down, up, down. All right, that's how we're gonna start it off. Now from here, and this is going to include not only this D chord that we're gonna play next, but the G chord as well. Watch how my third finger doesn't move. I'm gonna switch to my D chord. It's gonna be the next chord here, all right? This is gonna be our pivot finger, not only for this D chord, but for the G chord that's coming up next, okay? So first finger, placing that on the second fret of that G string, that note is A, and your second finger is on the F sharp second fret of that E string, since we're in standard tuning. Now, there is an F sharp in the bass. I am someone who likes to do this and place my thumb over to the second fret of that E string. Let's play that F sharp right there in this fashion. To me, this is comfortable, all right? I know for some of us, this may be very, very strange, okay? So I'll give you guys another option, those of you who aren't comfortable using your thumb to press on that F sharp, all right? And again, if you do decide to use your thumb here, we're not gonna really squeeze it very hard. Just enough pressure to get that note. Like, I'm not pressing very hard there to get it. If I'm pressing too hard, see how my knuckle, it really, really engages, that we don't want. You can just literally curl it over, all right? Press just a little bit, and you'll get that note, all right? But if you don't want to do this, totally cool, no problem. What you could do is this. First finger reaching up to the F sharp, okay, on that second fret of the E string, all right? And then you're gonna get your second finger here, placing that on the A, second fret of the G string. You're gonna get your third finger here to play the F sharp, and then your pinky finger to get that B note. You could do that, all right? I prefer the thumb, okay? It keeps the third finger right in that pivot position. What you can also do is this. If you don't want to get that F sharp on the bottom, since we already have it up here, you could do this, all right? So first finger, this is for those of us who don't want to use our thumb, all right? Dean, I'm looking at you. He's saying he can't stretch his thumb like that, no problem. This one's for you, all right? So we're gonna get our F sharp right there with our first finger, second finger on the A, and our third finger, we're still keeping it on that D note, but notice I'm not striking the high E. All right, just like that. So you could do that too, all right? Me personally, I like to do this. All right, so just letting you know. So let's go ahead here and look at the strumming. So we've got C add 9, and then we have our D over F sharp, using that third finger as our pivot point. Down, up, down, okay? Or we could strum it that way. That's what I like to do. We've got up, up, down on that D over F sharp chord. So it would look like this. Let's try that. Last time here. All right, let's do that switch for those of us who aren't using our thumb. All right, do that nice and slowly. Here we go. All right. So up to you, whatever your comfort level is. I like to use my thumb, all right? So that's the D over F sharp, all right? And again, the target points for those two chords, C, our third of E, our fifth of G, and then we have that D D note there, which is our 9, all right, and then our D over F sharp, D, F sharp, and A, 1, 3, 5, and then we have our third in the bass, the F sharp, okay? All right, so then now here we go to our G chord. We're just gonna strum this through, okay? So from the D over F sharp. I like to do an up, up, down, up, down, up. That's what I like to do. All right, so here we go. Again. Now we're adding that little extra down, up. Let's do it again. One more time. Now in context, we're gonna do this twice. The C add 9, D over F sharp and G twice. Let's put it into context. I'm gonna play it a little faster. Here we go. One more time. So the next sequence of chords here, it's going to be a C add 9 to a D over F sharp, to a G, to an F major, to C, D, to G. All right? So in context, it sounds like this. So we're gonna have some open strings ringing in this as we pass through, switching from some chords to others. All right, so I'll let you know when that's gonna happen. So when we go to that C add 9 to D over F sharp to G, just like we did it before, okay, a moment ago. So we've got there. On that G, up, up, down. We're gonna get a little bit of that residual, right? Open string there, I'll show you what I mean. Hear that on that downward stroke? Getting a little bit of those open strings there to our F major bar chord, all right? So, I get a lot of questions about bar chords, all right? Are they tough when we first learn them? Absolutely. Know that you're not alone in thinking that, oh my gosh, bar chords are really hard. When we first learn them, they're pretty tough, right? We've got a lot of muscles in our hand, right? A lot of tendons and all that good stuff. So we're training them to do something new and kind of uncomfortable. So be patient with yourself. So my beginners who are watching with those bar chords, don't worry. They were hard for me when I first learned them and so many other guitar players. They're hard in the beginning, but again, perfect practice, thinking of some certain little techniques that will help you, okay? Practicing through, perfect practice will give you a wonderful result. So let's talk about some of those things here. I like to build from the bar first. Okay, so my first finger is going to be for this F chord, okay, across all 6 strings. Now, see this fret here, it's nice and straight. We want our finger to be perpendicular, right? We want it to be straight with that fret 2. We don't want to do this, okay? We don't want to be crooked because we get a lot of buzzing. Sounds thuddy, that we don't want, all right? So we want to get that first finger across, just like that, okay? So we want to get as close to that fret as we can without touching it. Even if I were just to move this a little bit, you'll see that I'm not on top of the fret, okay? So we've got that there. Now our thumb, okay? And I'm gonna see if the camera's gonna capture this. So if we look at the back of my guitar, see how in the middle of the neck, how the finish is coming off a little bit, right? You can kind of see the true color of the wood underneath my Martin here. All right, that's where we want our thumb. We want that thumb in the middle of the neck, okay? And that thumb is gonna be on a little bit of an angle, okay? That's okay. Want that thumb pointed towards this tuner here, all right? We want it in the middle of the neck. Notice, if my thumb is up, see how my hand begins to shrivel. That we do not want, okay? It's gonna make this chord even harder. This is already a hard chord to play. So placing that thumb in the middle of the neck, pushing through with that thumb, pushing inward with that first finger. That's the foundation of that bar chord. So you want those nice and strong. So keep those things in mind when you're building this chord, okay? So our root for this F chord is on that first fret of the E string, okay? Our second finger, placing that on A, second fret of the G string, third finger on C, third fret of that A string, fourth finger is on the other F, third fret of the D string. All right, so push through. And for my beginners, those B and E strings, the higher ones here, they're usually the last ones that we can get nice and clear. So pushing through with that thumb, okay? Setting that good foundation with the first finger. We want to take our time with this. Again, I find that building the bar and then building this mini chord within it is much better instead of doing this and then reaching up. For me, just as a guitar player, I like to build the bar and then build the chord. All right, so a bar chord. So that's just my advice, okay? My advice there. But I encourage you, ask other guitar players how they make their bar chords successful, okay? We can always learn from each other. So there we go. There's that F bar chord there. So in context, C add 9 to D over F sharp G to that F. It's going to sound like this. I'm going to play it a little bit slower. So up, up, down, up. Let's do that again. One more time. Now we're going to go back to a C chord. Okay, we've done a C add 9. We haven't done C yet. So first finger, okay, C, E, G, the 1 through 5 of building the C major chord. First finger, first fret of that B string, there's your C. Second finger, second fret of the D string, that's your E. Third finger reaching here to the third fret of that A string, which is C. Strum from the A string downward. Okay. Just like that. All right. So from that F chord, we're going to a C. I realize this can be a tough switch. Take your time with it. All right, take your time with it. I wish there were some pivot finger-ish things we can do, but I like to do a little bit of a hop when going from that F bar chord to that C. If you really wanted to, could you kind of do that third finger as a pivot? You probably could, but I like to include just a little bit of a hop, okay? So from the top, okay, top of that fourth string there, C, okay? And that's just going to be a straight down, up, down, to D, down, up, down, D major chord, we already talked about it, to G, 1, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then that's the end of the verse, all right? So we're going to do here, in context, let's go through that verse again. I'm seeing a bunch of questions over here. I'm going to answer them right after we get through this verse, all right? Thank you all for your great questions. So here we go. Do that again, one more time. We're going to keep it slow. So notice that, those open strings too between that C and D chord. Let's do that one more time. So that's what's happening there in the verse. Let's answer some of these questions here. Someone is asking what kind of strings I like to use. So I'm a proud Dario artist. I have been for a few years now. On this particular guitar, as far as steel string go, what I really like are the nickel bronze. I use the light gauge, so that would be 12s, yes, 12s, or what I use on my acoustic. I really like them. I think they sound great the second you string them on, and they sound really great for a long time, so I find that I don't change them as often. So those are the strings that I like to use. They sound really great. I really like how they sound, so that's why I use them. So I hope that answered your question. All right, we got someone here. Hey, Angela, I know we're all different, but how much time does it take to learn and proficiently play a song? Or what milestones indicate you've arrived? It's a really good question. So how much time does it take? It really depends on how much practice you're putting in. All right, so we want to make sure we're playing every day. We can't play like a couple times a week and then expect to, play a 17-minute long song or even a 3-minute long song. So practicing every day, working on your chords, working on your chord switching. I'm a big fan of using a metronome and keeping you honest about your timing and building in your timing, listening to music, even playing along to some songs, and being very honest about where you are, and maybe learning songs that are a little bit on the easier side if you're a beginner. Okay, this song's 3 chords, this song's 5 chords, and there are no bar chords in this. Let me start there. But definitely playing every day is really, really valuable, playing every day. And it's always baby steps. Don't look at it from day to day. Look at it from maybe week to week or from month to month. Wow, I'm able to do this. I wasn't able to do that a couple weeks ago. All right, so be gentle on yourself as a learner. There's always progress. You just got to put in the time. All right, so great question there. Great question. All right, so let's go ahead here and look at the chorus. The chorus has less chords, which is great. It's a really fun chorus here too. It's very throwbacky, I think. I just love the chords and the feel of this chorus. So the chorus sounds like this. Really cool bit here with the D sus4 and the D sus2. All right, so let's go ahead and look at that here. So we've got an A minor. Okay, so the chords are going to be A minor, D, D sus4, and D sus2. All right, we're going to be interchanging all of these chords. So A minor, since it's a minor chord, all right, the formula is going to be a little bit different than it is for a major chord. So 1 flat 3 5. In this case, for A minor, the notes that we are looking for are A, C, and E. So let's find them. First finger, we're going to place that on the first fret of the B string. There's our C. It's our flat third. Second finger, second fret of the D string. That note is E. Third finger is on the A note, second fret of the G string. You're going to strum from the A string downward. Just like that. Okay? So there's our A minor, A, C, E. Found them all. All right, so there we go. So what we're going to do here, so let's start with down, 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 up. Ugh. Let's try that again. We're live. Down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. All right, I'm going to do that nice and slowly without the commentary. Here we go. Now to D major, D, F sharp, and A, all right? Notice how the beginning of that is pretty similar to the A minor. Down, 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 up, down, okay? Now, we're we're gonna play a D sus4. All we're gonna do here to play this D sus4, keep this D chord in position. All you're gonna do is place your fourth finger on the 3rd fret of that E string. That's our G. So that's the 4th of D. So it should sound like that. It's a very open chord. Okay, we took the 3rd away and we replaced it with a 4. The F sharp has been replaced with a G, okay? So we're gonna do a downward stroke there. Going back to D, upward stroke. Downward stroke, D sus2. Wait a second, how do we play it? D sus2, ready? Just lift that middle finger, okay? So we're getting rid of the F sharp again. We're replacing it with an E because we have an open E string. So it sounds like this. We're gonna start from that D chord. And I'm being very, hyperbolic with this, okay? We'd strum it not quite as wide, but I want you to see like how we're doing that with the up, down with those chords, okay? From the A minor. Also, too, if you wanted to do this and have the D sus4, D sus2 back to D, all upward strokes with like a ghost down stroke, you could do that too. It would look like this. If you find that's more comfortable for you, give it a try, all right? It's something I wanted to mention there. Okay, so that's what's happening in the chorus. That's repeated twice. So let's do this. Since we've gotten through most of the tune already, let's go through the intro, let's go through a full verse, and let's go through a full chorus. The chorus, that section, repeated twice, and then we're good, all right? So here we go from the top of the intro, to a verse, to a chorus. All right, here we go. Now to our verse. We're going to repeat that. Chorus. All right, so that's what's happening there. So after that chorus, we're gonna go right into another verse and then right into another chorus, all right? So that's what's going on there, all right? So let's go ahead now and look at our bridge. So our bridge looks and sounds like this. That's repeated. So that's happening there. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Only one new chord that we haven't seen, and I'm sure most of you already know how to play it. It's an E minor, all right? So we're gonna go from G. So down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So let's look at that G again. I'll do it a little slower. Let's do that again. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up. To F, same thing. Let's go back to G. Last time, G to F. Now we're going to go to an E minor, same strumming pattern. To D, same strumming pattern. Go ahead and do that again from the top. And again, that E minor, for those of you who don't know how to play it, second finger, second fret of that A string, that's your B note. Third finger, second fret of the D string, strum everything. All right, so there we go. E, G, and B. 1, 5, 3, 5. All right, so here we go. From the top of the bridge. Let's repeat that. So that's what's happening there. Then after that, we have this little bit of a tag, and it's going to go from C major same strumming pattern to D. So let's do that entire bridge, and then let's get to that guitar solo, shall we? Here we go. Bridge, whole thing. I'm going to speed it up a little. Repeat. Comes that little tag. Oh yeah, the D, up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the solo here. All right, the solo is really, really fun. It sounds like this. And this is done on acoustic as well on the album, so you can go ahead and give that a listen. So I've got this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts. So let's go ahead and look at the solo. And then after this, we have a couple little riffs to learn, and folks, we are done for the day. As always, thank you all so much for making these riff rundowns such a success. It has been such a joy seeing how many of you have been helped by these lessons and are picking up the guitar and playing again or learning songs the way you've wanted to. I'm so glad. I'm so glad these are helping everybody. So thank you all so much. And again, if you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can click. There's a link down here, over here somewhere. It really helps the cause. Really does. Really does. So let's go ahead and look at the solo. So what we're going to do here, let's look at the first part. So we're going to get our first finger here, 5th fret of that A string. That's going to be a D note. All right. Hammer onto the 7th fret. It's going to be E. And we're going to land there on G, 5th fret of the D string. Now, place that 3rd finger, 7th fret of the G string, or D string rather, back to that 5th fret of the D string, that's our G note, back to our E, 7th fret A string, 5th fret of the D string, G. So let's go through the whole thing. Notice the alternate picking with the right hand. Again. So that's part 1, done, okay? So let's look at part 2. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, 3rd finger on that 7th fret of the D string, okay? So that's our A note to G, 5th fret, going back to A, now sliding up to B, 9th fret of that D string, back to A, to G, to E, to G, okay? So here we go, nice and slowly here, this is part 2. Let's do that again. One more time. Now let's combine it with part 1, okay? So here we go. One more time. All right, so those are parts 1 and parts 2. Got them. Done. This is part 3. I love this part. Really cool descending line there. So, what we're going to do here, after we play that G note there on that 5th fret of the D string, play an open G string. So we got this octave thing happening. So that's what we want. Now get the first finger, placing it on the F sharp, 4th fret of the D string. F sharp, open G string, supposed to be dissonant, but when we put all together, it sounds really good. Okay, so bring it back a whole step, 2nd fret of the D string, that's your E. Open G string again. So, finishing the phrase with the open D string. Okay? So we've got this. Okay, that tail end of part 2 into part 3 with that G note. Let's do that again. One more time. Now let's combine it with parts 1 and parts 2. Okay, so here we go. Let's do that again. Cool little riff, right? We play it to speed. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Let's go ahead and look at part 4. Looks like this. Really, really cool little, this whole solo I think is just so great. Really, really melodic. So let's look at that here. 3rd finger at the 7th fret of the D string, that's our A note. We're going to slide into the B note at the 9th fret. Okay. To the 7th fret of the G string, that note is D. Going back to B, 9th fret. Now what we're going to do here, 9th fret of that G string, okay, that's our E note. E is an elephant. Here we go. Let's do that again. Last time. Now from here, let's go back to D, 7th fret G string. Back to our B note, 9th fret D string. Back to D, 7th fret. And an open G string. I'm going to play through that whole phrase nice and slowly here. And don't forget to alternate pick with the picking hand. Here we go. Let's do that one more time, then we'll combine it with the rest of the solo. Here we go. Now let's combine it. Here we go, parts 1 through 4. Let's do it one more time, a little faster. Okay, there we go. Let's look at part 5. This is where we get the bends in. Really, really great ending of a solo. So what we're going to do here, 3rd finger on the 9th fret of that G string, we're going to bend it. I kind of do a little bit of a scrape. You don't have to do that. So we're going to bend a whole step as if we were playing. I guess it's a half step bend. Never mind, half step bend. So we're going to bend, striking the bend, again bringing it back down to true. Then landing there, 7th fret of the G string, D note. Okay. Going back to the 9th fret of that G string, that's an E note. Going back to the 7th fret, to the 5th fret of the G string, back to the 7th fret D note, back to C, 5th fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, or you can do that, which is what I like to do. Play the G there on the 5th fret of the D string. So if I play this whole thing nice and slowly from the bend, here it is. Okay, again. Let me do that again. Okay, so just like that. Let's combine it. Here's the whole solo. Some cool pull-off things happening there. I'll do it again, a little bit slower. So from there, we go back to our chorus. It's going to be a double chorus. Now, for the outro, okay? The outro chords, guess what? So the C add 9, D over F sharp to G. And we've got this really cool, beautiful, easy little open string riff. That's going to be repeated 3 times over that section. How we do it, guess what? Same notes that we did in the solo. We're going to do open D string there, hammering onto the E note 2nd fret, and then open G string. And we're going to do that 3 times. 2. All right, and the very last little outro riff is going to sound like this. Okay, again, super awesome, super melodic, very simple to play. So we've got open D string, hammering onto that E, 2nd fret, open G string, 1st finger 2nd fret, okay, that's going to be our A note, 2nd fret of the G string, open G string, back to that 2nd fret of the D string, E note. You can choose to play an open G string there or play a G chord, all right? Or if you can catch it, like that. Or just play just a G note. Again, really, really great song. Such a fun one to play. There's something in it for everybody. Can't go wrong with a beautiful melodic solo and a really cool intro. So that is a song. That is Cold Day in the Sun by the Foo Fighters. You can check that out on their In Your Honor album. Yeah, just a great song and it's just always such a pleasure to teach you guys how to play some of my favorite tunes. Again, if you're enjoying the lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You want to check out all the cool stuff Fishman is up to. There is a link in the video description. You can go there and hear all about the gear that I use on these riff rundowns. So, as always, wishing you much success. I will say this, the next couple of weeks, get ready for some 90s music. I will leave it at that. It's going to be really fun. So again, folks, wishing you much success, and I will see you guys again.